that's why I always say, like, hoteliers, sometimes we get a bit complacent with our brands. So we can't see what standalone venues see. Always a standalone venue is much more creative, they're more freer, and they create that longing. So how do we bring that same aspect into our hotel? The best way is to partner with these guys. The next one, of course.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Chat.Travel. I'm your host, Tracy May, and as you can see, we are not in the studio. We are in my happy place. For those of you who follow me on social media, know that I am home when I'm at the beach. And we are so lucky to be here at the beautiful Fusion Resort and Villas in Da Nang with a good friend of mine, the general manager of Fusion, my friend Mario Mendis.
Hey,
Hi, Mario.
hey Tracy, so great to have you here with us. Thank you for coming down. And look, you brought out the sun for us. Thanks a lot. It's looking great. Those waves in the background. Lovely.
Just beautiful.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful place. We know each other from Saigon, and as great as Ho Chi Minh City is,
Yeah.
you get to do this every day now. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous.
It was a really hard choice.
Hard, I'm sure, really hard.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Let's
Yeah.
talk about you. You've been in a long heritage of hoteliers, correct? And can you take us on your journey of where you started as a kid to how you ended up in Utopia, where we are right now?
Thanks, Tracy. Yeah, look, I'm second generation hotelier, right? So my dad was a hotelier through Sri Lanka, but actually went over to Europe, the Middle East, and then came back to Sri Lanka to run hotels in Sri Lanka and Maldives, And I think what I learned a lot from him while going for holidays, visiting him, was seeing how amazing the hotel life was. I mean, like, we grew up in Australia, but every holidays I'd always go home to see him, visit him, and see how every intricacy, every department, how the chefs, how the housekeeping, the buzz, the life, and as a kid also walking through the kitchen and taking a swig in the pastry, which you can't do now because of HACCP, but it was fun, and a hotel is something that when it opens, it's open until it closes, right? So it runs 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. So there's always something happening. And I guess that's what it was in my blood and drew me into it. This is my 26th year now career. I know it seems like unbelievable, over 25 years of being in this industry. Is that I started when I was quite young, when I was 17. And like I always said, my dad also started at the bottom. He was a night shift manager, night shift receptionist, actually. And I started actually as a dishy, as a dishwasher, and worked my way up through food and beverage, starting in Australia. And then moving on to, my heritage, which is, of course, Sri Lanka. Went to the famous Langkar Broy, which is now the Cinnamon Grand, a heritage hotel. So I went in there and spent about a year, and it was amazing because we got to work with an amazing team where we opened new concepts, F&B concepts. And then that's where I took a jump over to the Middle East in Dubai. It was at the iconic, it was the old Forte Grand. If many of the hoteliers who know, Trust House Forte, then became the famous Le Méridien Dubai, which has had over 18 food and beverage outlets. I was fortunate enough to be pre-opening for 3 of them. That's where I think was the pinnacle turning point in my career, where I learned a lot about food and beverage when it came to concepts, ideas. Because there, it was owned by the Sheikh of Dubai, the Emirates owners, actually, right? So you dreamt of it, we could make it happen. And so that's where I guess I fell in love more with food and beverage and operations, concept development, and it was a melting pot of different nationalities. What I always said about Dubai was that it was very authentic to every outlet. So, like, the French restaurant would have French maitre d', a sommelier, the chef, the pastry chef. They were all from France and different parts of France to keep the authenticity of it. You cross over to the Italian, the same thing. Then in our seafood restaurant, we had amazing Hong Kong chefs. So each restaurant, depending on the cuisine style, had these professionals from their native countries who brought these flavors.
Wow.
At that time, Dubai was exploding. When you talk about 2004 to 2010, before the first GFC crisis and everything, Dubai, all the hotels is actually the only place where you could have alcohol and, restaurant concepts that worked really well. As more and more expats were moving there, that's where it just exploded when it came to food and beverage. Good 5 years there. I did take a little stint while I was there to Bermuda. I guess that was an interesting thing. I went over there for about a year to see the other side of the world and work in the Caribbean. But I came back to Dubai because I was missing the limelight. I was still young, so Dubai for me is where the limelight and where it was happening. After that, I moved over to Thailand, to Bangkok. That's what started my Thai journey, and also my first son was born there as well in Hua Hin.
Oh, wow.
So I guess things started to change a bit more in pace and lifestyle. Started to leave a lot of the city resorts and go to seaside beach resorts. But then, of course, the calling took me back again, where I came to Saigon, and I was recently we worked together, of course, with the amazing 25-year anniversary party that was just blown away. It was unbelievable to be a part of that. I mean, be a part of the iconic Sofitel Saigon Plaza. 6 years is where I grew up from number 2 to number 1 there, so EAM to general manager, and I was there during the best years, 2018, 2019, and then of course the hardest times where we went down into lockdown and everything and just tried to survive. And then the rebirth of that hotel. So it was a great time to be there and what we did. And of course, I was missing something, the beach. So fast forward to today, as you see here, beach and golf is my new lifestyle and running this amazing new hotel. It's all about wellness concept. This hotel is a stunning resort, over 3,000 square meter spa complex,
Wow.
indoor heated pools, waterfalls, you name it. So I think I found my happy place.
Incredible. Incredible. Well, I'm very happy for you to find your happy place. Isn't that what life is all about?
Yeah. Peace of mind, we say, peace of mind.
So let's talk about the Sofitel Saigon Plaza, because obviously that's how I know you. And working with you, you were so kind to involve me in this iconic moment in this hotel's history in Vietnam, being 25-year anniversary. And I was nervous, not going to lie.
Yeah.
You were truly, what I learned about you very quickly is you are the most meticulous, detail-oriented, and visual person I've ever worked with. Like, you are able to see, you need to see it. You need to see it in, not in black and white, but in color. And you can point out the smallest little detail that maybe I wouldn't see when it's my job to see. And there was something really striking that I learned about you. Where does that come from?
Wow, thanks. Wow, I guess that comes definitely. I owe it to my dad. I guess his passion and love. And when I used to walk the resort or walk hotels with him, I saw how he paid such a close attention to that. We say attention to details.
Mm,
His eye for attention to detail, no matter how small it was, be it in the back of house, the front of house, any part of the resort, he, in his position as general manager and vice president, it was never too small or never too big to identify what was going to happen. He had like a forevision, he could see the next, into the future, I would say, how this would develop. And I used to admire that. And that, I guess, through the properties I work with, some amazing GMs as well, that after that I got a chance to be with, especially like in Le Méridien, Dubai, and of course in Thailand as well. I was fortunate enough to work with amazing GMs who were kind of like my mentors,
mm,
who gave me this insight to see further. How will we develop this experience? Because a hotel is all about creating an emotional connection with our guests,
sure.
but taking that experience even further by the fine attention to details. It's by us creating that luxury experience even before you ask it, even before you think about it, we should be able to deliver that. And that's why whenever it came to food and beverage, especially, I love, like when it came to events, for me is to see how can we wow our audience in a different way, especially in Saigon. We've been to so many gala dinner events, etc., and it's normally been quite repetitive, right? We used to laugh about it. I said, that's why, when we called you on board, Tracy's like, let's do something different. And of course,
And we did. It was different, and it's never been repeated, my friend. Like,
big.
it was pretty iconic. Not
It
gonna
was.
lie.
I mean, and it brought everybody together. But what was so unique about it was the way it was laid out in our ballroom, everything about it. It was a signature event that paid homage to this iconic hotel. It's 25 years of being a part of that community, that hotel's history and legacy. It deserved an event that would remember it that way. And
Mm.
iconically, of course, all the employees who had been there for over 20 years. So it definitely, I guess, yeah, we definitely achieved that.
Did the
Obviously.
thing, right?
And onwards and upwards, I mean, like here also, our grand opening event that we held just a few
Yeah, I
months
guess
ago in
my
autumn.
invitation to that one got lost in the mail, huh?
So yeah, that one was a bit different. Again, it was something else. Now, how do I do it by the beach, right? So again, with the team, it's about for me. It's also getting the team involved. More important, as you know, how many pre-com meetings we had,
Right,
right?
of
And
course.
every day, and I know you were like pulling out your hair, going, "Mario, shit, he wants to see it again. He wants to see it again." Of course, and that was the whole thing about the run through. That run through of that sheet from when you came up with amazing ideas about dancers, the musicians, everything. But for me, I needed to see that the flow. How does the flow of the event and the night goes? And that was the most important thing. But that also bringing the team together and letting them believe in this event, seeing that flow. So that's how you create a magical event when you get everybody together and you constantly look, see, and believe in this event that we're going to pull off.
I mean, what I found getting back to the meticulous, and I think that your style of leadership really trickles down to your staff, because during that time I was so amazed where I would walk into the door and not just your doorman would say, "Hello, Miss Tracy, how are you?" but your housekeepers would wave and say, "Hello, Miss Tracy." I could walk into the kitchen and the dishwasher would know me by name.
Love
And
it.
I
Yeah.
really thought, I was like, maybe I'm spending a little bit too much time here,
Yeah.
A, or B, it was really indicative of this community
Yep.
that you built of respect for everyone in the community and welcoming me. And I was an outsider. I'm not an employee. I was, just a hired gun for an event. But I really was taken by that, of the attention to detail. They don't need to know me, but they
Yeah.
took the time to know me. They found out who I was so that they could properly address me and be kind to me and be in service to me. And I really think that it's very rare that luxury hotels are luxury hotels, and they garner, the whole part of luxury is to garner service. But you know what I mean? Like, it was very different. And I really think it's indicative of who you are and how you mentor your staff into understanding that sense of community and making your guests not just feel like they are customers, but really that they're guests.
Like family. Like I always say, like, thank you so much, Tracy. It's how do you welcome your mom, your best friend, or your aunt who comes to visit you at your place? What's that? You see that way you welcome them, right? Or your long lost best friend, you invite them over. How do you welcome them, right? Use the same principle, emotions when they come to our hotel. That's the best way to create a genuine warm welcome.
Mm.
And this all binds to what I always talk about is that social purpose value. How do we create that with our employees, our guests, our stakeholders, and more important, the community? How do we bring the community into the hotel and create a long lasting legacy?
Mm.
You look at some of the greatest hotels around the world, how they have been a part of the fabric of that community, how they've grown. It's not just your son's wedding or your birthday or anything like that. You shape people's lives, their careers. They build their lives through this hotel, which has a trickle effect for their kids, their wives, their sons, their daughters, etc. You're building trees, I would say, family trees that all kind of link to each other. That's why I feel a hotel is very much a part of the community, and that social purpose value that we all create is the cornerstone
Mm.
that benefits all stakeholders.
Interesting. Well, why don't we talk a little bit about you brought up a little bit COVID, and
Yeah.
obviously, COVID decimated the hospitality industry in Vietnam, right?
Say that
But you
again.
guys, right, and you guys survived it, which many didn't.
Yeah.
Of course, Sofitel was backed by a course, so it was a bigger brand and a bigger umbrella that was maybe able to help you and sustain it for that time. But you initiated a number of programs specifically in sustainability during that time that are now, it's really trying to, because, sustainability in hotels are, number one priority, especially in Vietnam.
True.
Can you tell me a little bit about the major programs that you
Yeah.
instilled, and now that this is your new playground, what do you plan to do, especially in the sustainability
Yeah.
and hospitality front here?
Sustainability, the word itself in hotels has been taken in different ways. When we talk about sustainability, we talk about all aspects of the hotel. And during COVID, that was what we call the Great Reset. Um, we were zero, right? We really hit rock bottom, and we had to find ways to survive until things sort of came back to what it is now. Now, let's talk about sustainability. When we talk about environmental, we initiated, of course, the usual: get rid of the plastic, got the glass bottles in. Everybody did that. We all did that, and that was, of course, we partnered with local partners here to bring in glass bottles, water bottles. Then the big shift was, of course, linen for life and coffee bricks. So the thing is, coffee bricks, we have a lot of residue left over coffee, right? I mean, you can imagine how many coffees we make.
Right.
We were able to donate this with AMI, a great company, which were repurposing them and making them into coal to distribute to rural areas to use as cooking fuel.
Wait,
It was amazing.
repeat that, please. Tell me about this
So the
process.
leftover process from, let's say, when you make an espresso shot and everything, you have the leftover coffee residue, right?
Right.
Normally that's been thrown away. It's a kind of wastage. Whereas AMI is an amazing company that we also buy our chemicals, etc. from. Were able to collect this, repurpose it. We just donated it. They repurpose it, and you can imagine you're collecting tons and kilos of it into small, what we call coal bricks, coffee coal bricks. So the
So it's like
substance,
compressed and hardened and pressed?
yes, and
Okay.
and then it can be repurposed as coal for cooking. So people didn't have to have gas or electricity. They could actually use these
Burn it.
coals, burn it, and use it for stoves.
Whoa. I've never heard of
Then
this.
the biggest thing for me is, of course, let me borrow your piece of paper over there.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
See this size? This is the size of a cage that chickens live in.
No.
Maybe two. Imagine that, living in that, right?
No.
So that's when I visited these farms, that's when I made the shift. And for the first hotel actually in Accor to do it 100% was to bring in 100% cage-free eggs. Free roaming chickens that were allowed to breed like it was back in, 100 years ago. Get them out of this inhumane way of living and buying 100% organic free range eggs. And the taste was amazing. That also, we work with HSI to create awareness. At the beginning, yes, the cost implication was a big thing for people. They were like, oh my God, the price is like double, it's triple. But I said, this movement is going to shape many hotels and the world soon. As we progress, because COVID was a reset, we gradually phased it in over 6 to 12 months. It actually ended up being only 0.003% increase. So it was a marginal drop in our whole food cost. But the impact of saving that many chickens' lives and creating a more humane process of sourcing these items. Now let's shift from these kind of sustainable actives to sustainable community initiatives. The best one for me actually is the launch of Ministry of Men and House of Babad. This is the guys, the founders, Tom and Guido.
I love
This
Guido.
was
He's a really good guy.
brilliant, and these guys, me and Guido, we were just chatting on WhatsApp for this whole project. And he was saying, his lease was coming up, actually went through, and he was looking for a new place to start. And I was talking to him that, look, I've got a place, but it was like, I guess he didn't know really it was a dead storage place. But I said it's a very unique area because his concept also was more of a speakeasy / concept bar and a barber shop. So the area where we put it and how we discussed it, I was like, I don't know how you guys are going to build this here, but let's take a chance. So with the owners, spoke to the owners, said, look, it's not going to hurt you. There's no investment from your side. This is a dead spot area in our hotel, but let's bring in this community favorite that people really love. Their concept of their barbershop, the concept of their bar, the way they do their cocktails is, still to date, they serve the best whiskey sour. And they had a real unique passion about what they did. So they took over that place in the corner area of a third hotel of the Sofitel. it became iconic in that hotel. We had so many people coming to a hotel booking rooms just to see that bar. And the use of that space over only just 90 square meters, what they created was just not short of remarkable.
Mm.
And then, of course, they went on to open in Melia, Hanoi, etc. But you know, Guido and Tom had such a visionary, and I loved it about them. And that's why I always say, like hoteliers, sometimes we get a bit complacent with our brands, so we can't see what standalone venues see. Always a standalone venue is much more creative, they're more freer, and they create that longing. So how do we bring that same aspect into our hotel? The best way is to partner with these guys. The next one, of course, was we were the first to do a reset, which was an amazing concept before Premier came in. It was a wellness through technology. So we had infrared saunas, we had hyperbaric changes, right? Then we had new calm sleep therapy. This was, I guess, at that time, because we were coming out of COVID, people didn't want to be touched, etc., massages. So this wellness therapy was an innovative way where, again, they were third party, they invested, they came into our hotels in an area that was underutilized to create revenue streams into our hotel. But at the same time, bringing them in was bringing their demographic of guests into our hotel. And when I say that, is that that's a new target market, a new community that we're working with. From then on, of course, it went to Habanos, the amazing cigar and whiskey shop that we have in the lobby. We rented out our lobby lounge actually for a little while to a third party that created revenues. Then there was a time actually just after COVID where our executive lounge, which is now part of the hotel again, we worked with a company called JTB, which was actually an import export showroom for fine Japanese products.
Mm.
So we had the first DBA, Dutch Business Association. We converted a couple of our rooms into offices at that time because these were all revenue generating ideas, but they were ideas and concepts that were bringing in multiple other ways of revenue to the hotel, be it through MICE events, through room bookings, etc. They were generating cash flow for us to all survive, to pay salaries, but more than that, to create a different demographics in the hotel. And then fast forward to now, of course, everything's opened up. I mean, the hotels then, those were concepts and ideas at that time that helped us as a community in Saigon kind of survive and keep going.
Mm.
Naturally, everything opened up, and now a few of them are still there for sure. They're still there. That's what makes the hotel, the soul of the hotel. I always say, how do you create the soul in a hotel? It's life. And then, of course, we partnered with amazing people like Madame Trang Lei and Jade and Venus from Harper's Bazaar,
And Top Chef.
Top Chef, exactly. Bingo, Top Chef. We did a few seasons there. We were lucky enough
And
to be judges.
Banseo. Right. We're
Yeah.
both judges on Top Chef, and I went ahead and did Banseo as well.
Bingo.
I mean,
And by offering our hotel, it's a win-win for both sides. It's
great
showcasing the
promotion for
property.
you, of course.
It's showcasing the property. This iconic heritage property is still very in tune with its community and cutting-edge concepts or media that's out there at the moment. And that's what I said. How do you create this social purpose value journey? When we talk about sustainability, it's not just about all the green and greenwashing.
Sure.
It's sustainability
How do you sustain?
Philosophically, or not philosophically, sorry. How do you sustain with your community? And I guess the last project that I really love working with was Jimmy Pham from Koto. I mean, the story behind it. I mean, I worked with Jimmy Pham 3-4 years ago where we were hiring his chefs. Everybody knows. I'm pretty sure Jimmy. I mean, how he brings his underprivileged kids off the streets, gives them the education, changes their lives. Take that a step further, partner with him and open a restaurant in the hotel and change the lives of multiple of them, because all of them have the option to work with Accor, a world-leading international company, but able to travel the world or get transferred to properties around the world because they're part of their community. I mean, who would have thought when they were, sorry to say, underprivileged or homeless at that time or abused, they got a chance to be a part of Jimmy Pham's Koto, and then again, another chance to be a part of an international chain.
Mm.
So it's that, again, social purpose value journey, and how do we include the community in, and how do we work with them to create these amazing concepts and ideas that make the legacy of that hotel.
And so, what are you doing? What are your plans for this place? Look at this place that you get, and it's new that you get to play in. I
Yeah,
know that you have this incredible chef dinner coming up, so that's a big event with some of the
absolutely.
best, biggest names in culinary, Peter Kung Franklin and Olivier, and and they're all Julien. They're all coming out here to do a Michelin dinner in your resort. What other ideas do you
Absolutely.
have?
That's because I was getting itchy and bored. I love the sea and the beach, but I was missing a little bit of the Saigon flair. So I said, guys, you got to come up. Let's do something big. Because,
Awesome.
I mean, we used to do Saigon Gourmet Week all the time
Right.
in Sofitel, bringing chefs from all around the world. So let's do something in Da Nang and let's create the buzz and the flair. And like you rightfully said, that's the first step. The next one, we'll be working with some of Asia's 50 best bars. Husha's coming out from here as well. So the idea is that once a month is to create unique events like this by the beach for the community here in Da Nang, which is very much a growing. It's been growing for years, but there is now a major influx of many foreigners or even locals who are moving for a better life. I mean, look at this. Sorry, like peace, not just peace of mind, but the quality of life as you get older, especially after COVID and everyone talks about it. What's my quality of life? And that's the journey to take now. In this hotel, we're blessed with one of the largest spas in the whole of Vietnam, over 3,000 square meters, and
Mama need a massage, just saying.
we got 26 treatment rooms,
Wow.
indoor heated swimming pool over 260 square meters with massaging waterfalls. There's two large waterfalls that I actually sit there because it's unbelievable. It actually massages your back. That's how much the pressure coming from those waterfalls. So we've got also infrared sauna, steam baths, but more than that is this hotel is about creating wellness journey and wellness, and a completely wellness getaway. We have a healing retreat package where we go into Tibetan healing, sound healing, yoga, hatha yoga, fly yoga. Then we use plant-based materials to create a specific diet for your 6 or 8 day stay here. It's all about you coming here and rejuvenating yourself. Really about because right now wellness and mental well-being is the most important thing that many people in the world need
Right.
more and more. And I always said it before, self-love, self-take care is the most important thing for you to be at your best game ever. If you don't take care of yourself, how do you take care of your wife, your kids, be your best friend, be a good leader for your team? How do you bring out the best in others if you yourself, you don't take care of yourself and bring out the best in you? So that's what this hotel, our aim is to create that experience for you. So no matter where you go back into your personal, professional life, that we bring out the best in you.
Hmm. Got
That's
it.
a good way, I guess.
No, that's amazing. And I actually want to jump into that because, you're one of the busiest dudes that I know. I mean, you're a really busy guy, and being the GM, the responsibility of being a GM of a resort or a hotel in a city is a 24/7, 365 day a year job. I mean, I would show up at, 11:30 at night, having staying overnight at the Sofitel, and there you are in the, on your phone. How are you able to balance
Yeah.
your work life and sustain that while still you've got a beautiful wife, you've got beautiful kids, and be able to be a dad and be able to have a personal life that belongs to you, your self-care? How do you do that?
The number one thing I do every day actually is I take 1 hour to just walk. I love
Hmm.
this.
Oh, so you
Uh,
do a walk.
I walk. I walk for about an hour, at least 5 to 6 kilometers. This is my go-to place. And I listen to Blinkist. I don't know if you heard of Blinkist. It's a fantastic app where it's audio books condensed into like 10, 15 minutes. And I listened to a lot of stuff about the Stoic philosophy. I don't know if you researched about like Marcus Aurelius and all that.
Mhm.
It's amazing to listen to these podcasts because that's not only am I trying to heal myself by de-stressing in walking outside or in the gym, is listening to this 2,000-year-old philosophy of how Stoicism and how those principles are so important to even today. But more than that, Blinkist has many other things. Like you can listen to, I mean, two of my favorite books I always say is the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. And the other one is 1 Minute Manager by Kenneth Blanchard. These two books shape your life,
You have to send them to me, please.
your personal career life, and everything. And that the third one is of course playing golf. Golf is the best way to not only de-stress. Some people say it's stressful, it is, but golf is a game that when you fall in love with the principles and you understand that game and the integrity behind it, because it's a one game, you literally only can you play against yourself, and you learn so much about composure, um, strategy, calmness, walking the greens, and being located. Our hotel being located across three world-class golf courses just here, it gives me that ability to break away and do that. So combining this all together is what allows me to come refreshed daily, to
To
be
have
with.
your zen, to be able to like,
Yeah. And then of course, yeah, take out time to go out. I mean, take the kids to, like last weekend. I think it was back in Saigon, and we took the day out. We ran down to Amazing Bay, amazing water park. You know, I mean, you're never too old to do these kind of things. Go to the theme park or go on a trip. Always schedule it. I always say, everyone says you're busy, you're busy, you're busy. You're not busy. You're only busy because you don't know time management and how to schedule yourself. All you got to do is schedule everything. Schedule your personal life, your work life, and your love life. All of that has a component. And when you can master that scheduling, it actually becomes a lot less busy. You are not as busy as you think you are. And then you start to have peace of mind in everything and quality of life.
got
I mean,
it.
the older you get, that's what we all really want: peace of mind and quality of life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It's like, moving from the States and getting to live here. That was what it was all about for me is like, I'm done being in that hamster wheel. I need to stop. I need to reinvent, and I want a different quality of life. And we're very lucky as expats to have that in this beautiful country. It's really incredible. Okay, let's talk. I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
I want to talk about what are some trends that you forecast for hospitality? Do you see
Yeah.
anything coming in the
Sure.
horizon?
I mean, Da Nang's literally on fire at the moment. I
It
don't know how to
is.
put it. April, maybe it's but April, every hotel is going to be running over 90%. Is we've got new routes opening up. We've got Emirates starting flights into Da Nang. We've got direct flights from Osaka starting. We've had at least four other new international destinations launching direct routes. Next year, we've got Australia and US hopefully coming online. Da Nang's future growth is phenomenal. I'm not just pimping that up. I mean, it's unbelievable. But by these major carriers already starting international direct routes, that shows the demand for this city, not
Right.
just for its stunning beaches. It's beautiful, amazing Hoi An, ancient town. It's world class. There's 8 golf courses here now, and 3 of them are world class and in the top 100 golf courses in the world.
Wow.
Um, you've got a mix of everything here when you talk about Da Nang, from the city base by the river to like the beaches to UNESCO websites, UNESCO heritage sites to Marble Mountains, the old Champa era, up into Hue to see the amazing citadel, the first capital of Vietnam. The foodie too here, as you were talking about earlier. I mean, we got Chef Olivier here, we got Sea Dining. I mean, these are all Michelin selected. We got Le Square. I mean, there's
I'm
the
talking to Alessio tomorrow from Sea
there you go.
Dining.
You're gonna love it.
It's such a good restaurant. Love it.
It's his restaurant is, and just ask
Incredible.
him. He's booked out every night. You can't. You got to book to get a table at his place, and his food is phenomenal as well.
Right.
But we got all these kind of chefs moving here and setting up world class dining establishments as well. So Da Nang as a destination is just only improving in terms of tourism, being a foodie destination, and more than that, a a place to live, to bring up your kids. You've got great schools here now. You've got a great hospital, world class international style hospital. And connectivity, as you said, it was one of the best airports in it. Well, it won world's in Skytrack. It won Vietnam's only 5-star rating for one of the best airports.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Da Nang has got it all going for it. I see Vietnam as well as general is definitely hot for the next, let's say, next 5 years. We see the shift from Thailand, Indonesia, Bali. People have done it over and over. They want something new.
Right.
And one thing about Vietnam is that what we try to say is that they have to get out of their head that it's not that 10-day tour where you do the big 5 H, we say, right? Hanoi, Halong Bay, Hue, Hoi An, and Ho Chi Minh.
Mm.
And it was always start at the top, go to the bottom, or start at the bottom, go up the top, and then fly out. In each province, be it the north, the central, and the south, you can easily spend a week to 10 days discovering the sights, the sounds, everything about it. Go off the beaten track. And I think one of the best shows was the Netflix one, the one where the lady moves from the US and she falls in love with her guide here.
Yeah.
But how that story goes where they go off the beaten track, not the regular, okay, let's go have a banh mi, let's go have a pho. No, go visit the rice fields, go visit the ancient temples, go visit the Quang Binh caves. Vietnam from north to south, and even Luke Nguyen with his new story on Netflix as
Mhm.
well. His one's about foodie trails off the local train network, just jumping off at a random station and exploring the roadside food eateries. So that and it's the affordability is just stunning. I mean, you get luxury at every pinpoint, but you get authenticity here. And the Vietnamese people, what's amazing, but they always stop and say hello. It's like it's a natural xin chào. It's a natural welcoming.
Right.
I feel definitely for the next decade, we can see a real robust uptick of tourism. It's great for everybody. We just hope that it doesn't become like, of course, like what we have like in Spain and stuff like over tourism.
Right.
And then we say, okay, then we have to develop, I guess, an entity or a ministry that will start to look at more responsible tourism actions. Like Thailand and them done, you're going to close certain areas out for rehabilitation. So that we hope that they will have that same approach that will be coming with becoming such a great destination.
Awesome. And my final question, what's the advice you would give to a young, hopeful, up and coming hotelier or someone coming up in the hotel industry who eventually wants to become a GM? What advice would you give?
Yeah, that's the 3 Ps. My famous one. I always talk about it in every induction, in every when I go to speak at students at RMIT and all that. It's always the first one. Of course, we always say the passion, right? You gotta have the passion for whatever you do. Because if you love what you do, yes, you're not gonna work a day in your life. It is true, but with that passion comes two other major things that everyone forgets: is the patience. You got to learn an immense amount of patience. But that patience, when I talk about patience, it comes with emotional tolerance and emotional intelligence, especially in the hotelier business. You got to have both these entities. When we say emotional intelligence, it's understanding all the different people that you're going to work with, their beliefs, their wants, their needs, the way they are. That intelligence factor, as especially when you become a leader, needs to be understood. How do you deal with that on an empathetic level? And with that comes the emotional tolerance, because you yourself are going to lose a lot of energy. You're going to be depleted a lot when you deal with these, not only your guests, your stakeholders, your management, your community, your personal life. In hospitality, it drains a lot out of you. So patience, by building your emotional intelligence and tolerance, is so imperative. Um, and the last one, P, is perseverance. I'll tell you, this industry, anything you do, like I always say, don't job hop, country hop.
Hmm.
All right? Because it's so valued, especially now in such a globalized world, being so we're all social media on. It's adapting and working with these different cultures, and the perseverance. It's always the first 4 to 6 weeks. Even when I moved here, like from Saigon, I'll be honest with you, the first 4 to 6 weeks, I was like, what am I doing here? I went from 200 kilometers to 20 kilometers an hour in some ways, because it was a different. It's busy, but it's a different style of work from the city to the resort. But emotionally, you'll feel, and this was not my first move. This is my seventh country and probably no, my 12th location move.
Wow.
Um, it's always the first 4 to 6 weeks where you you will emotionally test yourself, not only with the people that you're going to work with, the surroundings, how you adapt. It's always the hardest, and you sometimes look, you actually break down. You feel like crying. You feel like, even at my age, I'm 43. There's sometimes I felt like, wow, what am I doing here? But that's where you persevere. It gets, I can say that it gets easier as you get older, but the first 20 years, let's say when you're between 21 to let's say early 40s, maybe even it gets hard. I mean, it's hard that first 6 weeks. But I always say, once you persevere through that first 6 weeks, boom, it always gets better.
Got it.
Every location I've been in, it always gets better. So, passion, patience, and perseverance. Have these three with you, and you'll be not just a GM, you could be a vice president, a CEO, you name it. But take those three with you
All right.
and show up.
And show up to work on time. Thank you, Mario.
Thanks,
It's been a
Tracy.
pleasure to sit with you.
Likewise.
You know, I may just hide in the bathroom upstairs and you'll find me in 3 weeks. Thank you, everyone, for watching. This is Chat.Travel. I'm thrilled to be with you guys. Until next time, have a great day.